I'm an Uber driver, and I just had this young lady get out of my car, and I figured I needed to pass this information on. I just picked her up from Chick-fil-A, and it was her first day. And she was super excited. She had been looking for a job. She really wanted to work there. She was younger, and but she got in the car and it looked like she had been crying. And I don't want to pry. Like, if you want to talk about it, you can. But I'm just trying to take you where you got to go, right? So she was like, yeah, today was my first day, and they let me go. And I was just like, okay. Did they give you a reason? Because I used to work in HR for years, and I used to be a recruiter, so I was just, wondering. And she was black, so I was just like, hey, what was the reason? And she was just like, well, when I got there, they pulled me into the office, and it was the manager and it was the GM or whatever, like, at that location. And she was like, they were like, are you aware of this particular company's values? And she was just like, yeah. I'm like, you're a Christian organization? He was like, it's not about being a Christian organization. We're talking about, like, the character, morals, integrity, things like that. We're just talking about as a business standpoint, not necessarily a Christian business or organization. So she was just like, well, yeah. And he was just like, well, we wanted to show you this. Pulled his phone out and showed her her own video. That was, I don't know if it was on Instagram or TikTok. And in the video, she was going on a rant and a rave about how she hated white people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But listen to these Democrats and these liberals, they'll tell you that black people can't be racist. When in reality, some of the most racist things I've ever heard have come out of a black person's mouth. The fact that, she felt comfortable enough to go on a rant on social media about how much she hated white people tells me everything that I need to know. And it should tell you everything that you need to know. Let the roles be reversed. And these Democrats, these liberals, they would be losing their minds. Losing their minds. In a complete uproar. Oh, no, blah, 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 we got to get her fired, blah, 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 blah. They would be going crazy. Crazy. You know how many of those same individuals said anything about this story? Not a one. Or about any other story of a black person saying something racist? Not a one. Interesting how that works, isn't it? It's fine if we do it, but it's a problem if another race does it. I think, hey, if it's fine if we do it, if a black person does it, then it's fine if a white person does it too. Or an Asian. Or whomever. It's fine if anybody does it. If it's okay for us to do it. But also, this is also a lesson to young folks about social media. Whatever you post can and will come back to haunt you. Okay? And it's funny because I automatically one of the people types of people that I think of are these far leftists, who are out here terrorizing Republicans and stuff, rioting and doing all this extra stuff. What is going to happen when the Democrat Party splits? Because I believe that is going to happen. When we win in these upcoming midterms, which make sure you show up for the midterms, all right? Show up in these primaries too, but show up in the midterms. We need massive, massive participation. But when we win in these midterms, it's going to be a shock. And then when we win in 2028, it's going to be I don't know what's bigger than a shock. I don't know. It's going to be this massive 5-alarm fire type of situation. And you're going to have a large segment of the Democrat Party that's going to say, we can't keep going in this direction. We keep losing. We got to turn back and go back towards the center. And so you're going to have a major split. The far leftists, the Antifa types, they're going to split off from the rest of the party, and they're going to be off on their own. And the rest of the Democrat Party is going to disown those individuals, and now they're off on an island by themselves until eventually they realize, okay, we ain't got no political power, way out here by ourselves, which that's going to take a while. But they're going to figure it out eventually, and now you've created this this image of yourself being this radical lunatic, and now you're trying to come back in, so that's going to create this issue, because when you go to get hired, people are going to look into your past. They're not just going to drug screen you and look at your education. They're going to look at your social media. They're going to Google your name. You know? What's going to pop up? They're going to look at your social media. Oh, he was one of those folks. Ooh. We'll give you a call back. I ain't calling back. You know? But y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts.
I just let her finish. And she was just like, yeah. And it was like, well, unfortunately, you know, this doesn't line up with our core beliefs and values here at, you know, at Chick-fil-A, but this won't light up with any organization or company. No employer is going to be okay with an employee doing this openly. You would be a representation of us. He was like, you already know. And it was a younger guy. He was like, you already know. As soon as somebody is racist out there, cancel culture goes straight for their job. And they'll go and tell their job this, that, and whatever. And we just want to get ahead of that right now. Because if somebody sees you or can put two and two together, they literally can come harassing us and kind of letting us know about you. And we don't agree with that. And they were like, you know, hand in, you know, bring your uniform back in and give us your badge, whatever. Woo. And so I went to go pick her up. And I told that young lady, I said, you have to be very careful what you do and what you say, period. There's a whole bunch of people out here that are hateful and racist and this, whatever, but...
Well, she's racist herself, so... like, to go on a rant on how much you hate white people. If a white person did that, they would say the same thing. Oh, that person's racist. So she's racist. Like, how about just not be a hateful individual? How about that? Let's not make excuses for this, okay? Because that's what it sounds like she's doing. Oh, well, there's a bunch of... Like, no. Let's not make excuses. She was being racist. Let's end that. Let's cut that off. Let's nip that in the butt, all right?
He's absolutely right. People are so quick to cancel other people and call their job nurses, doctors, police officers. You know, we catch them doing something out of pocket, we going straight for the jugular. They're attacking their livelihood. And he had every right to get ahead of that and be like, yeah, nah, you don't line up. And I love how he separated the Christian values just away from just integrity and morals and character and things like that, right? And I was just like, you can't do that. I'm like, I used to work in HR for the longest. Like, if we get wind of that, honey, we will let you go. Most states are at-will states. They don't owe you anything. You didn't even start yet. You didn't even clock in. Like, when did you post that video? And she was just like, well, I posted it a couple days ago. So you posted it after you got... Why are you even saying that stuff openly and out loud like that?
Because that's the society that we live in today. It's okay for a black person to say racist stuff. Okay. You know, I say it's not okay, but to a lot of individuals, especially on the left, it's okay for a black individual to say that stuff. But you let a white person say it, it's the end of the world. And that's why I say it's not okay. Right? Because if nobody else is allowed to say it, then that should tell you everything you need to know about that statement or about those words, you know?
Like, I'm like, well, you just lost the job. She was like, I really needed that job. You should have thought about that before you just went on a racist rant on the internet. The internet is forever. And you gotta, the moral of the story is this: be careful what you do and say. And especially what you voluntarily post on the internet. How you mad because they let you go because you just made a blanket statement that you hate white people? Now, if it was a white person saying that, oh, you'd be just up in arms and he's a racist and he's a this and this and this and all this.
Exactly.
You can't put those statements out there and think that you finna work for the same people you say you hate.
That's also a great point. Hey, shout out to Coach Centurius. I'm probably butchering that. I apologize, but Coach Centurius, shout out to her. That's where this post obviously came from, her TikTok account. But yeah, matter of fact, here's her TikTok account on the screen so y'all can see. Bang. All right. There it is. So y'all can see that for yourselves. Pause it if you need to, if you want to go give her a follow. But yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. You can't be shocked that you're getting fired after you said something like that on the internet. The internet is forever. The internet is open to anybody and everybody. And just because you make your profile private doesn't mean that you're automatically safe. Okay, anybody can screenshot what you said or what you did. As a matter of fact, I feel like that happened not too long ago with somebody like prominent. I don't remember. Like somebody that they were friends with, like screenshotted something and like posted it for the entire internet to see. But their profile was private. So just because your profile is private doesn't mean somebody can't screenshot or screen record what it is that you said or what it is that you did. So let's just not be hateful individuals. How about that? I know, liberals and Democrats would say that us folks on the right are hateful individuals, even though we aren't, which I think that's absolutely crazy. But let's just not be hateful individuals, okay? Then you're good. All right? But yeah, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.